podcasting's choice. From coast to coast, continent to continent, right here 24/7.
PNR.
Blueberry.
This podcast is a member of the Blueberry Network. Blueberry. No E's. That's Blueberry, BLUBRRY.com. Blueberry.com.
This podcast is a proud member of the Lamb Podcasting Network. Find the network at largeassmovieblogs.com.
The Big G, Tokyo Town, StompDown.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Big G Tokyo Town StompDown, brought to you by Subject Cinema. I'm Kim Brown.
I'm TC Kirkham, also by eCinemaOne.com, and Kim's brand new Patreon-only show, Kaiju Corner, which you can get for $5 a month on our Patreon patrons. So come over and join the fun at patreon.com/PNRNetworks. All month long, we're bringing you 31 days of Godzilla and counting up the movies, while writing down not all of them, because there's been more than 31 movies. We had to make some choices. And today's movie is from 1972. I'm going to get this wrong, because you said the pronunciation is different, depending. Godzilla versus Gigan.
I've heard it different ways. I've actually never heard Gigan. I've heard Gigan Gigan.
Okay, Gigan.
I've always heard it was. I always thought it was Gigan.
Okay.
So
in America, it was finally released in 1977 as Godzilla on Monster Island.
Yeah.
So there we go. I've never seen this one, so you're going to have to be a guiding light for me.
Okay. Gigan is considered one, he's one of Godzilla's long-running villainous monsters. Again, like King Ghidorah, usually under the control of aliens and stuff like that. His look is phenomenal. I mean, you've got this big, hulking creature with a kind of curved spike on his head and these curvy claws and this buzzsaw running down the center of his chest.
Yeah, that's kind of goofy looking.
It's a look. Well, my whole thing with the hooks these big hooks for hands, I'm like, how does he eat? Or go to the... Actually, I'm not going to talk about that.
Not going there.
No, we're going to leave that alone. So anyway, the plot of this film is, once again, aliens are looking at Earth as primo real estate and have decided, yeah, we want to live there. And, there's people already there? Well, too bad. We'll just kill them all.
Dun, dun, dun.
There are like billions and billions of planets out there.
Thank you, Mr. Sagan. I thought you were dead.
I thought you were Dale. MST3K joke, sorry.
Huh. Okay.
But there's enough planets out there. You think that somebody would be like, let's leave Earth alone this time. Let's go find someplace else. But no. The aliens from Space Hunter Nebula M, because that's not long enough. I'm like, wait, if it's a nebula, that's not a planet. I don't get it. Is this everybody in the nebula? Did you all get together and have a meeting about this? Anyway, their planet is dying. Sad thing.
Does the M stand for Motara?
No.
It took her a second to get that.
No,
anyway.
It doesn't.
Star Trek 2 joke.
Stop trying to put Star Trek... Everything in life does not revolve around Star Trek. Not when it comes to Godzilla.
Well, when you said everything was in the nebula, I didn't want to bring up a Guardians of the Galaxy reference.
Good night, everybody. Man, would you leave making the inappropriate jokes to me, please? It's my one shtick. Don't wreck it.
Fine.
So anyway, the aliens from this planet, which are apparently in their true form, they look like something that resembles a giant cockroach. They're like insect. What? That's not nice. Stop. That's not nice. Why are you laughing at that? It's just...
Sorry, jeez.
Well, I mean...
I didn't know you were a cockroach hugger. Wow.
No, I'm not a cockroach hugger, but, we can't help the way they look. They can't help we can't help the way we look. They can't help the way they look. Don't be species-centric. So their whole thing is they're going to colonize Earth because their planet's dying. So they wind up taking the forms of people who have died, that they've usually helped along in that respect, and they work at building this park called World Children's Land. And Of
course they do.
I'm sure it sounds much better in Japanese. The main attraction of the park is this big building that looks like Godzilla that is referred to as Godzilla Tower. So their plan is that they're going to use two monsters that are, usually found in space, Gigan and King Ghidorah. And there's these two tapes that they have. They're called action signal tapes. Again, I'm sure that sounds much better in Japanese. To call them to Earth, and then they're going to sick them on humanity, and they're going to destroy humanity and then take over the planet. Who can save us?
Prince of Space.
No!
Oh. But their weapons will be useless against him.
Stop it. Phew. The Prince of Space versus Godzilla, that would be a very short movie. Ping! Anyway.
I'd rather it be Prince of Space than Space Chief.
Oi, don't be slamming on Sonny Chiba. Don't do it. That's not cool. Not cool. So anyway, there is this manga artist by the name of Gengo Kotaka, and he is hired by the park to draw their pictures and stuff like that, to do sketches to show what they want done in the park and stuff like that. And he figures out what's going on because he finds out their plans by accident. So he and his friends are like, holy crap, we need to do something about this. And they get one of these tapes and they play it, and the sound on the tapes is heard somehow by Godzilla and Anguirus, and apparently Godzilla and Anguirus are now buddies.
They go bar hopping together.
I guess they're not trying to murder each other anymore, so that's, and in a scene that is definitely kind of one of these, did I just see that moments, Godzilla speaks to Anguirus. You have to see it. I can't describe it. I mean, I could describe it, but no, actually, I can't describe it. I'm not even going to try.
Go find out what's happening to Tokyo.
Well, it's like, hey, Anguirus, what do you want? It's like, Anguirus is like permanently, I guess he's just permanently angry. He's just like really grumpy.
Angriest!
Sheep in the Big City joke. For those of you who don't get that obscure reference, and if those of you who did get it, give yourself a cookie. So, Anguirus goes to find out what that noise is and what's going on, and, So, he heads off to Tokyo, and because he's a giant monster covered with spikes, the Japanese military, basically is like, holy crap, it's a giant monster! Again!
Well, they know it's Anguirus.
They know it's Anguirus, and they also know that there's going to be a massive amount of property damage. They're assuming...
It's going to be a rumble.
They're assuming there's going to be a massive amount of property damage, because here comes a kaiju. That'd be a great name for a children's book. Here comes a kaiju. La la la. Anyway, so the military naturally does what the military does, overreact, and that was not meant as a slam for all fighting men and women out there, whichever army you serve in. You do a great job protecting your
Just kidding.
Countries. I'm just being a wise ass. So there. So because they apparently don't have anybody on staff that speaks giant spiky monster, they start throwing everything they have at Anguirus, and they wind up driving him off.
Do you think he speaks whale? We could get Ellen DeGeneres to do it.
No. I'm reasonably sure Anguirus does not speak whale. Okay. Considering that
considering we've heard GPSs that speak whale, it's really kind of weird.
Considering the fact that he's this kind of spiky armadillo.
I'm sorry, we're getting way off track. Anyway.
Considering that Anguirus is this big spiky armadillo porcupine sort of
hedgehoggy
kind of thing. Yes, I know that was very scientific. I'm sorry. No, I don't think Anguirus speaks whale.
Okay.
So anyway, Anguirus goes back to Monster Island and reports back to Godzilla because apparently he's in charge now. Well, I guess if you've got the atomic breath, I guess you are in charge. And he lets Godzilla know what's going on. And they both head back to Japan and stop laughing. I can't
I'm not
do
laughing.
this.
I'm trying to keep from making another terrible joke that nobody will get. Anyway.
Okay. So, because they realize Gigan and King Ghidorah are coming, and they realize that's bad news for them.
How do they know Gigan? He hasn't been here before.
Well, they're picking up the names and things from the tapes.
Ah, okay.
And if they figure that if this is something that's hanging out with King Ghidorah, it's not going to be all sunshine and puppies. So as it turns out, the Godzilla Tower actually has a purpose besides being a big tower for Godzilla to look at and be sort of confused by. As it turns out, there is a laser cannon in the tower, because of course there is, that the aliens use to try and kill Godzilla. But Gengo and his friends use... The aliens are very, they're very like, oh, we're superior to humans because we have all this great technology, blah, 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 blah. They're the usual, we're aliens and we're going to act like jerks types. And they use, Genko and his friends use the aliens' tech against them, and that makes them, they wind up accidentally blowing themselves up. Oops. And so we have this...
Whoops.
So now there's nobody here to control Gigan and King Ghidorah, who have arrived, and they're just all about destruction anyway. And now not only do they have a whole new planet to trash, now there's two other monsters here in Godzilla and Anguirus that are like, no, we want you off our planet, like, now. And they're all like, no, we want to stay and fight. So they have this big, huge fight, and Godzilla and Anguirus manage to win, and Gigan and King Ghidorah head off back into space with their tails tucked between their legs. In Ghidorah's case, that's 3 of them. I don't really think Gigan has a tail, technically. No, he might. I'm not sure from this picture. I don't remember. So the fight is over, and the good monsters have won. Head tilt. And Godzilla and Anguirus just are like, well, our work is done here. So long, citizens.
Thanks, friends. Bye.
Yeah, right. And they head off back to Monster Island. They start swimming back. And before they go, Godzilla turns around and does this triumphant roar to the sky. Basically, it's almost like he's thanking the humans for helping them defeat the aliens by, causing the aliens to wind up killing themselves. The end. So now we are...
Yay!
I don't really think that deserved a Kermit flail, but anyway. It's not that Godzilla vs. Gigan is a bad movie. I mean, considering what was coming next. It's just that, I don't know, the talking scene. Can we please talk about the talking scene?
Talk away.
I can't describe it. I mean, I can try. There's actual word bubbles on screen.
No, that's in the Japanese version. They actually voice over on the American version.
Well, yeah, that's true. There's actual, in the Japanese version, which I have seen, I've seen that clip. There is, there's, Godzilla and Anguirus talking in voice bubbles with kanji writing. And what? I don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't. It's I don't know. It's charming in a weird sort of way. I guess. I don't know how else to word it. But I also have to be like, I'm sorry. Not for nothing. If I tried to picture what I thought Godzilla's voice would sound like if Godzilla was speaking in a way humans could understand.
He sounds like Carson Kressley. Oh, I'm getting the death eyes. Sorry. Okay.
No. But I would also like to say, in this movie, this wasn't it either.
Joan Crawford.
No. Look, if you're gonna keep insulting Godzilla like that, anyway, the person that actually voiced Godzilla in this stuff was actually a member of I believe he was a member of he was part of the crew, or however you word it. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to find his name. I'm really sorry. I had it a second ago and I lost it. And a voice actor named Ted Thomas.
That's the American version.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which I also think is really interesting. They had to, when they brought this film to America, there was a little swearing they had to cut out. They don't think they cut out the blood, which is this. They cut out some of the blood, which I'm kind of like, I'm sorry, these are giant monsters they're fighting. Why can't there be blood? I mean, I know I have watched too much hardcore wrestling for my own good, and I've probably become desensitized to that. Hey! Yeah. Huh. I like that. Like I said, it's not...
Just because I love you, it doesn't fly me to your faults.
What faults?
Uh-huh.
Keeping up appearances joke. We're getting in a crap ton of Easter eggs in this one. Like I said, it's not that this is a bad film, but I do know a lot of G purists would turn up their noses at a film like this because it's very obvious that Godzilla has firmly been placed in the camp of
Godzilla is a friend to children everywhere.
If you don't stop doing that, it's not that bad.
Godzilla is a friend to mankind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is crap.
Yeah, it is.
Which also makes no damn sense. And also it makes no sense to me that, like, you have the whole thing in this film where, Anguirus shows up to try and find out what's going on. Everybody panics and throws everything at him but the kitchen sink. And he goes back to Godzilla, and Godzilla's all basically like, what happened? And besides Anguirus conveniently leaving out, I got my ass kicked, his whole, the whole thing about, like, they're all, basically it's like, well, what happened? They don't want to listen to me. They chased me away kind of thing. You think Godzilla would be like, well, fine, F them. But no, we can't do that. Also, I think that's because they realize I'd like to think it's not a question of, we have to save humanity. Because what the hell has humanity ever done for Godzilla, for crying out loud?
Well, that's kind of the premise of the upcoming film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People who complained about Godzilla versus Gigan, that Godzilla was acting OOC, they had no idea what was coming. None. At all.
Okay, where does he go OOC? In the next film? Or?
Yes, in the next film.
Okay.
I'm saying people were...
Right.
People would look at this
out of character, for those of you who don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Before we sign off and get ready for tomorrow's show, well, we should have said this was the 12th movie in the Godzilla franchise, and this is May 12th, Mother's Day.
Yes.
Should have said that, and happy
Mother's Day to all the moms out there, big and small.
And we want to also notice that this was the final film that Haruo Nakajima played Godzilla. He'd been playing it since 1954 in the original film. This was his final film. He was getting a little bit up there in his age, so couldn't do it anymore. So
you have to admit, that would be hard.
It is. That's
be
very
in
hard
that
work.
outfit. That is
I would not
easy.
want to be in that.
No,
this film, as well as the next two films we're going to do over the course of the next couple of days, were all directed by the second stringers, Jun Fukuda. Or Yoon Fukuda.
It's Jun.
Jun?
Yeah.
Jun Fukuda directed this one, tomorrow's, and Tuesdays. So, and he was considered good, but not as good as Ishiro Honda.
No.
Who was the father of Godzilla, so to speak, way back in 1954. Tomorrow, we will head toward one of the few Godzilla films that has actually been on Mystery Science Theater 3000. And deservedly so. Godzilla vs. Megalon tomorrow.
Yep.
Until then, for the Big G Tokyo Town StompDown, I'm TC Kirkham.
I'm Kim Brown.
We'll keep stomping till the 31st with the new Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Bye now.
You've been listening to the Big G Tokyo Town StompDown from Subject Cinema, Kaiju Corner at eCinemaOne.com.
This podcast is a proud member of the Lamb Podcasting Network. Find the network at largeassmovieblogs.com.
Podcasting's choice. From coast to coast, continent to continent, right here 24/7.
PNR.